Hey man, what's up? What's good with it, man? It's your boy VonzToCold, and I'm back at it with another video. You already know what time it is, man. I want to announce something. This is very important right now. All right, very flipping important. I ain't gonna lie. But this dude right here, we'll be looking at. This nigga is the GOAT. He's the GOAT of knowledge, my nigga. If you need to know something, watch his videos. Watch his videos. I'm telling you. I recommend his videos to you. But yeah, let's watch. You already see the title and everything. I don't have to read it to you. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I hope you can read. But yeah, let's get into it, man. Oh, also, hold on. If you want to find this channel, I got you. This is channel right there. You see it? This channel right there. Cold. It's cold, bro. Yeah, let's sit back and watch this. Yep.
Primarily because one of my subscribers at patreon.com/the saint and the sinner asked me, Marquette, can you tell me more about female nature so A, I feel more comfortable.
I think there's a video.
Women in conversation, I have a better sense of what to say. And another subscriber said, Marquette, I use the questions that you shared on patreon.com to engage in deep conversations with women. They allowed me into their mind and shared their history and secrets with me. As a result, I've learned a lot of things about their history that I don't really like. Can you give me some advice on how to deal with a woman's past? So I said, absolutely, I got you covered. And gentlemen, if you have questions during this talk, feel free to post them in the comment section.
I want to collect kind of cars that.
I should say rather illuminate the nature of the female is give you some short stories to point out certain things. The chief characteristic that you want to understand about the female is they are best characterized as radically insecure characters. For example, there's a young lady that made my acquaintance and she looked me up on Instagram by her own doing and then goes through my Instagram history, and as you gentlemen know, women are consummate detectives.
Yep.
CIA,
Yep.
FBI, ATF, all
yep. That is true.
They should all really work for forensic files. And,
they want to know everything about you at that one time.
She goes through all of this background.
All of it.
She tells me via direct message. She says, Marquette, I was looking through your profile and there's some really impressive stuff, but I saw this video where you're talking about women wearing makeup and you're talking about women using filters in their photos.
That's programmed in the females.
Filters on all of their photos because there's so much pressure on women, and it's not really right that you tell women that they shouldn't do that. I wish this was a real classroom so I can ask you, what do you guys think? Why do you think she said that?
So much pressure.
Out of all the things on my profile,
what pressure?
She hinged on that one thing. And if you pay attention to Marquettism, you know the number one characteristic you must have is to be a great listener. As a listener, that is how you learn the world. People will tell you who they are. The only question is, are you accepting it? So when she said, you shouldn't tell people that, or you shouldn't tell women that they ought not use these Snapchat filters because there's a lot of pressure on women. So me as a wise man, rather than pushing back on her, I made a deep analysis. The analysis would teach you that, first and foremost, she's a deeply insecure woman because all of the content on my page, when you see pictures of me doing community service, you see pictures of me giving food to the needy, you see pictures of me teaching young children, the one thing that she notices is that I recommended women do not use Snapchat filters because it's detrimental to their own self-image. Now here's the irony.
Yeah, women, please stop using the Snapchat filters, bro. Actually, work out and get your face right. You got bumps on your face. It's a reason why you got bumps on your face. And you should know it. You should look down and see what you're eating all the fucking time. I'm just saying.
you saw this young lady, I say she's about an 8.5 or a 9 in the face. Gorgeous young lady. But you should know that the most beautiful women are deeply insecure.
Yep.
And the levels of insecurity in the female are going to be there, whether they're a perfect 10 or they're a 5 or a deuce. And that's because it's the way they're wired. The reason women are wearing all of this makeup is because no matter what, they never feel good enough because their self-esteem is validated based on externality, meaning other people giving them attention and giving them praise is what makes them feel good inside. Conversely, the male feels comfortable. We're fine being fat, stupid, and ugly, right? We don't.
Right.
We're fine the way we are.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, if we're raised up strong, our self-esteem comes from the inside and it comes from our actual accomplishment. So
yeah, it comes from our work, what we can do.
To know that they're deeply insecure. So you must ask yourself as a man, how is it that you could ever be unconfident to approach a woman when she's not even confident going out in public without putting paint over her face?
He said paint.
How could you be unconfident to approach a woman when she's not even comfortable with her body? She has to wear a Spanx or some waist trainer, which is a euphemism for something that squishes in your gut. How could you be unconfident in talking to a woman when everything about her is fake?
Fake.
From her hair extensions to her eyelashes being fake, to her eyebrows being ripped out and sculpted, to the unsightly hair being removed with laser, to the face covered in makeup.
Yep.
All of these different things show how deeply insecure the woman is. So what you should know going in is you're dealing with a human being, you're dealing with a human being that is only getting her self-esteem from an externality. So if you approach the woman in full confidence without showing her that you're at all impressed with her externality, she is going to seek your approval. Because that's what women are doing when they go out in the world in these jean shorts that have half of their butt hanging out.
Yeah.
Seeking attention because they...
That's what they do on Instagram. Why you think women are so social? Why you think women are so social and need so much attention? Women are a very social creature. Women are very social. They love to talk. Love it. 24/7. That's why it's called social media. It's made for women. It's not made for men. Social media is not made for men. And whoever is posting pictures and trying to look so good and you know what I'm saying on a picture on an app that don't mean anything, then I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say about you, buddy. If you take Instagram that serious, that's tough. If you take, if you take this app, if you take this app right here, serious, I don't know what to say about you, bro. I really don't. Women too. I don't know what to say about you. Oh, she's Instagram famous. Nobody cares about that. The one that got the highest followers on Instagram are the easiest ones to get, and that's on my mama. Cause most of them might be thoughts. The world may never know.
Only feel validated by that external attention. So that's number one in female nature. Number two, based on the situation I described where this young lady looked at my whole Instagram and the one thing she wanted to talk about was the thing she disagreed with. Number two,
a person like him, I'm gonna accuse him because he actually do stuff and post it. You know what I'm saying, to get his name out there. I get that, but women that just show they just take pictures and say they're an Instagram model. You know, there's actual real models that have to do a whole bunch of work just to be on a billboard, on a ad, you know what I'm saying, or a commercial or something like that. They have to do a lot of work to get to them clothes to look good, and they don't use no makeup. I'm just saying, Instagram models is just a joke. And whoever says this is a fucking joke too. That's on God.
Number 2 in female nature. Women are complainers.
Yeah.
You'd have to ask a therapist or a
Yeah.
Meaning that if there's something.
Let me tell you something about that. I got a girlfriend and everything. I do have a girlfriend, and she called me out of the blue, out of nowhere, and she was drinking and all that stuff, hanging out with her friends in like a college dorm, and I was playing 2K. I was playing 2K21, the new 2K that came out, and she was wondering why I put her on mute, and was playing a game and everything. One saying, then she's talking about, I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, what he said is true, because women do like to complain. The shit that she was complaining to me because I left her on mute, and I don't know. Shoot, I was playing the game. You called me at the wrong time, and you called me when you was drinking. I don't mess with that, bro. If you see this, I don't mess with that, bro. I hope you do see it. I don't care what you think. I just hope you do see it. Don't call me while you drinking, bro. Don't do that, because I will not pay no attention to you, because you're not in your right state of mind. I like to talk to people when they're sober. I've been around too many people like that been drunk and stuff, and all they do is repeat the same shit over and over again, and that shit is annoying. That's what it does to your brain. It makes you repeat the same stuff you just said. I'm just saying. I'm gonna have to edit some of that out. I can't talk, bro. I need to start reading more books or something like that, bro, because I cannot talk. I need to work on my speech, my reading books or something.
So what you should be fully aware of is that nothing's ever good enough. That's their
keep myself busy off of this fucking
and you can observe it in the fact that they have nails. Those nails aren't good enough. Let's put fake nails on top.
Yeah.
Good enough. Let's add extensions. Nothing's good enough for them. They're always trying to alter and change and improve.
Yep.
Well, what's improvement in their mind, which generally involves things that are fake. So that's the number 2 piece of female nature. Number 1 is that they're deeply insecure. Number 2, they're deeply concerned with improving, altering, fixing, and changing things, because nothing's ever good enough, including themselves and including you, if you're not controlling their mind right and leading them in the right direction. So let me ask you this. Why would you chase a woman when in reality they're going nowhere? How do you know they're going nowhere?
Yeah, don't ever chase no women, man. That's not going anywhere. Don't even chase them at all. Don't ever do that.
She usually pursues that through her external beauty. Females who know that they're not very valued for their attractiveness, they pursue external validation through accomplishment, right? Getting a high-paying job, getting academic honors, things like that. These types of personalities you also have to be cautious of, because when they're pursuing external validation through the high-paying salary or the important job or the academic degrees, those are the women who are often going to fall into competition with the male. And if a woman is in competition with you, you will have a very difficult time getting along with her, because anything that you achieve, rather than praising you for it, she's going to try to outdo you. And the reason for that is based on her own self-examination of saying, okay, I'm not the good-looking girl, I'm not the girl with the nice body, I gotta be the brainiac, I gotta be the achiever, I gotta strive. And so she's gonna be striving against you. The only way you can find a woman who does not have that nature is if she had a great father. And for the most part, Chris, I appreciate the donation, brother. Thank you. Shout out to you. If you have any questions, you share. The only way you can find a woman who is not suffering from that mentality is if she was raised by a strong father. Most of the time, that's not the case. And that's why, generally speaking, if you find that she has a weak father, you're going to have a lot more work to do to build your relationship with this woman and make sure that she respects you as a leader. But let me go into this other little piece that one of my subscribers on Patreon.com asked about. He says, Marquette, you created a list of questions on Patreon and basically said how you can get into a woman's mind and figure out everything about her. And he's like, I successfully did that. She shared a lot of her sexual history, and frankly, it disgusts me. And I'm thinking, bro, of course it does.
It does.
Because another thing about female nature is that they are deeply sexual animals.
They are.
Honestly, almost to the point where it's perverse. I'll give you a few stories. I can tell you of multiple women who have told me not only do they watch pornography, they watch gay pornography, like homosexual males engaging with one another, and that turns them on. These are the levels of
what the fuck?
Sexual deviance that you're dealing with in the female. Further, in terms of their masturbatory practices, their masturbation that is, they're using like damn near power tools just to get off. And the worst thing about it is it's desensitizing the vagina. So by the time you deal with her,
yeah, that's just like a person beating at me. It's just like that.
Very hard to please her sexually.
Yeah.
The important thing to know about her like very high level of sex drive is that it's often repressed because they feel in this society they can't be honest about their sex drive, so they're repressing it, which makes them even more perverse. Because you're dealing with
crazy as fuck.
Sex drive, but they're trying to repress it so that they can control you.
So they control you, yep. They're gonna hold it back.
It's because they know that generally speaking, you want sex and it's their only tool to control you.
Yep.
And here's how you know it's their only tool. I told you, gentlemen, one rule: when you look at a woman, to assess her true value, ask yourself, if she did not have a vagina, if she didn't have a nice body or a pretty face, what would her true value be? And generally speaking, her true value would be very low, right? So because of that, they use the vagina to mind control you. And I just got a Cash App.
Yeah, that don't work. That don't work on me.
If you donated on Cash App, let me know your name in the comments. I appreciate that. So they use the vagina as mind control on you. So what I tell you guys is that you really need to have control over your mind, body, and spirit, because if you're chasing the vagina, you're essentially following the female as a zombie. You're following her as a hypnotized human being. And the way that you can remove power is to not chase the vagina. The reason the pimp is such a as a zombie, you're following. How's it sound, fellas? I think we were talking about the sex piece, right?
That sounds so much better.
If you're chasing sex, you're chasing a woman.
Yeah.
And the really the worst thing in chasing sex is that basically you have a person who's wildly insecure, a person who literally has no true goals in their life except to be validated by external parties, a person who's truly sexually interested in satisfying herself, but is going to withhold it from you merely to control you. That's not a person you want to follow.
Hell no.
You need to follow the pimp model wherein you withhold sex until you know that you've already taken over her mind and her heart. Remember that today, and shout out to the person who gave the donation. I truly appreciate it. I haven't
yet with my girl.
You want to control the mind and the heart. In 2020, a female
some
will give away
don't
her
seem
sex
right.
freely. You see, she'll give away her sex on a one-night stand. She'll give away her sex when she's out on vacation and she thinks no one's going to know that she was out whoring herself around.
All I did was the FaceTime thing.
When she
y'all know what that is.
Likes you, that's
all I did. I haven't, you know what I'm saying,
for her own control.
physically
Let me give you a quick example. I was talking to a young lady, gorgeous woman, and she told me that she was in a 6-year relationship
I don't want to give that up
man,
yet.
but for the last 2 years of the relationship, she was celibate. And I said, why would you do that? That sounds like you were trying to psychologically torture the guy. She says, no, I wasn't trying to do that. It's just that I didn't want to be in the relationship, but I didn't know how to break up with him. So it was really like I just wasn't attracted to him. I fell out of love with him. Well then, bitch, why would you stay in the relationship for an additional 2 years and torture the guy? The reason that she became celibate in the last 2 years of the relationship is because she was using sex is a tool to control and humiliate this man.
Yep.
And he was obviously too weak and too pussy whipped to get out of the relationship. Because if you're in a relationship and a female is withholding sex from you over a long period of time, she's doing that solely to destroy you.
My girl's
because
not.
The truth is,
she ain't trying to do that.
if she's with you and she's not giving you
I got
sex,
the proof. I mean,
she should really be worried about where else you're getting sex. So if she's not giving you sex, that shows that she has a very low value of you and a low opinion of you, so low that she's not even worried about you cheating on her. You understand what I'm saying?
As soon as we got together, as soon as me and my girl got together, we done the FaceTime thing. Within the first week, we got together. I knew it for like 2 weeks, and that second week,
and then all of a sudden she withdraws that physical satisfaction. That should indicate that there's a psychological issue on her part. You understand what I'm saying?
You already know about the news.
She's going through something that is a past trauma that's being brought up, or she's trying to manipulate and control you, or she has religious guilt. Whatever the case is, all of those things are bad, and you need to recategorize her into a woman that you're not going to make a priority. And another thing to remember is that, ironically, when you make a woman a low priority, you probably are going to become a higher priority for her. Why is that? Because as I pointed out, the number one key to female nature is insecurity. So the moment you show a lack of interest, they increase their pursuit of you. Were there any questions that you guys wanted me to answer before I carry on giving you this game? If you have any questions, go ahead and post them up.
Exactly what they do.
A lot of comments. I haven't been live in a long while. So they're just looking for some questions real quick. If not, I'll get back to this church. All right, cool. Yeah, I know. I appreciate that, Mr. Hayden. And you know what? I actually have been a professor of many things. I've given lectures at the University of Chicago School of Business, as well as Northwestern, primarily on, creating companies, tech companies, things like this. But if there's no particular questions, I want to carry on a little bit. Another thing what do you think about referring to women as females? They seem to think it's derogatory. Sakir, good to see you again, brother. Women, as I said, if you heard point number 2 or 3, I think it was on female nature, is that they're complainers. This is what they do. So as a man, you should have thick skin. So I think that referring to them as females is most accurate because you have yet to build up enough knowledge of the female to know that if she's a lady or if she's a bitch. So calling her a female is the most respectful thing you can do before you've built rapport with the young lady. So that's first and foremost. What other questions do we have on here? Why do they always want what they can't have? You know what, Jake? It's actually not only female nature to want what they can't have, but it's also male nature. It's human nature to want what you can't have. The wise man is one who is able to get enduring peace from mastering his mind and his internal world. But to speak more specifically about women wanting that which they can't have, let us think about human nature when you go down to the animal level of the female being one who gets impregnated, meaning that they now have to provide for food for another human being, right? Which means they're in a state of weakness and they have to rely on others. Because years and years ago, right, hundreds of years ago, when the female gets pregnant, she's in a very vulnerable state. So her inclination is to accumulate. It's to accumulate food and resources that she can use for later just in case. So certainly it's the nature of the human being, and especially the female, to try to accumulate because they know from the beginning they're in the weaker position. But what I can tell you, to go a little bit deeper about what they can't have, females are so lost psychologically that they don't interpret the world as it actually is. For example, if I was to see a woman walking by right now in jean shorts with her ass hanging out, and I rolled down my window and said, "I like those shorts," she might smile and she might stop and chat for a bit. If I was a fat, ugly man and the same woman was walking by in the same jean shorts and I rolled down the window and said, "Hey, I like those shorts," she would call that sexual harassment. Do you see the difference? Technically, it's the same situation. But in the female mind, because she's attracted to me, if I make a vulgar comment, it's no longer vulgar. But if she's not attracted to me and I make a vulgar comment, then all of a sudden it's sexual harassment.
Yep.
So that's what you have to understand about the female mind, is that they're
It's fucked up.
99.9% emotion. And a man today, or I should say a male today, most of the males today are also running on emotion. What I'm always recommending is that you're running on logic. And also
yep.
that you're living your life as a natural man, true to your nature. And true to a man's nature is to be aggressive and to be confident and to be forward.
Yep.
For example, there was a time I was pulling out of a parking lot in a gated community. There's a young lady I'd seen a couple times. And I was about to pull out, and then I noticed her car had turned on, so I could see that she was in there. So I hit the reverse, and I got out and started walking, and I said, "Hey, I want to meet you." And she turned around, and I said, "What's up?" And she says, "Oh, hi." And I was like, "Yeah, what's your name?" She said, "Oh, my name is such and such." I was like, "Oh, my name is blah, blah, blah." And we chopped it up for a little bit, and I went on about my business because I just wanted to make that initial contact. Was that aggressive? Extremely aggressive. Did I catch her off guard? Absolutely. When she went to wherever she was going, I know she probably thought, "Wow, that guy was really aggressive. He came off super strong." And that's the way you gotta come off sometimes. Because the truth is, as Machiavelli states, fortune is similar to a woman in that it is the bold man rather than the cautious man who will win her and retain her. So you always need to choose to be aggressive rather than be scared. If you're failing to do something because you're scared, that's a bad idea. However, I will tell you, there's only one guy I know who I'm willing to call and ask about and chop up some game with, and that's a buddy of mine. He's a doctor of psychology. He got his doctorate in psychology from Berkeley. So we're talking high-level game. And for example, there was one young lady in an apartment building that I was in. As you guys know, I got a lot of places. And good-looking woman, very well-to-do, high up in government. And she used to pass by my apartment all the time, and we chopped it up. Then I stopped seeing her. And so I was like, should I hit this chick up online? And then I was telling him, I was like, "Hey, man, I love spitting my game in person. I'm all about in person, but I haven't seen this chick around. So I'm an impatient type of character when I'm ready to get something done." And he says, "Quack, you know better than I do because you're all about in-person, face-to-face." He says, "You don't want to show your hand."
No,
and what he means by that is if you go out of your way to look up this chick and hit her up, she might get confused on where you stand mentally. She might get confused and think that you're really pressed to get involved with her. And in my case, that's not the situation. In my case, I want to add her to my collection. I got a whole collection. I want to add her to it. She might confuse me off the rip to be a guy who's trying to get that one woman he loves, right? So he was right in that case. You always have to present yourself accurately as you actually are. And when I talk in person, women get a true sense of me. But the way I speak to a woman, if I spoke that way via text message, it wouldn't work because I'd come off like an asshole and there'd be no charm to balance.
Yeah. See, the texting thing don't work, man.
I can say something very crazy and outrageous and women will laugh it off and roll with it. But over text message, it doesn't go the same way.
No.
So what I'm encouraging you to do is be aggressive, be yourself, do things in person if you can, but always make sure that you're communicating who you are to that woman in an accurate way. Which is why I never tell you to say, "Oh, I didn't get that text message," and like be unresponsive to a woman. Because if you're pretending to be unresponsive, but she knows that you're not a busy man, she knows that you're a Domino's delivery pizza guy, she's going to think that's fake. Whereas in my case, if I don't respond and I tell a woman, "Hey, I was up all night talking to my manufacturers in China because I'm producing a boxing shoe from scratch," that makes sense to her because that's my real life. So what I'm always telling you guys to do is be authentic and be real. And remember,
don't tell no lie, man.
Because if you chase a woman, it will lead you nowhere. Because for
they
the
ask
most part,
you what you've been doing or what you like last night or whatever. Just tell her the truth.
On earth
tell
is a supporter and
there's no reason to lie.
To Adam. Adam was put on earth with a mission. Eve's only mission was to support Adam. You'll find great women, and the thing that really thrills them is being with a great man because they want to help him rise up. They want to raise his children. They want to cook him nutritious meals. That's a good woman. Most of the women who purport to be ambitious, for the most part, they're not truly ambitious. And I know this because I've worked with them. I've managed them. And the women, who, even in medical school, when they want to become doctors, most of them don't become surgeons because it requires a higher number of hours. And they know psychologically, they eventually want to get pregnant. They want to spend time with their kids. Whereas a man, even if he has kids, he still wants to go extra hours in the office. And as it has been said, you never lose women chasing money, but you will lose many, many dollars chasing women. I'll say that one more time.
You will.
Don't lose women chasing money, but you will lose a lot of money chasing women. So remember that you always have to be goal focused, because if you achieve your goals will never abandon you. Your goals will never put you down. Your goals will never ask you for child support. But a woman, when things go wrong, she might become one of your worst enemies.
Yep.
And that's what you're seeking to avoid. So always keep them in that side position under the clear reality that they can be switched in and switched out at a moment's notice. Because what I tell you in terms of my philosophy is that you must live as a stoic. You must live as a Taoist, which is to say that you take life as it comes and you're living in the present. So if you have to let a bitch go, you feel fine about that because you haven't lost anything.
Facts.
She was never promised to be in your future. The only thing that you really need to stay focused on is keeping yourself sharp, because the sharper you are, the more value you have. And you should know, if you always have value as a man, women will always attract to you. Always.
Always.
I kid you not. Literally, because of this pandemic, I have to exercise in the parking lot in my gated community. There's been times when there have been multiple cars driving by and bitches will stop and roll down the window just to talk a little shit to me. You see what I'm saying? Because strength will always be valuable in this world. A real man will always be valuable in this world. Let me see what your questions are, fellas. Okay, what we got here? Why does she constantly ask questions, and how do I break it off clean, cool, and smoothly? Oh boy. Do you think old ex stuff is important to speak on or leave in the past? That's a phenomenal question about the ex-boyfriend. When you deal with a woman, you must always Dr. Phil her and dig into her background. The reason that you have to dig into a woman's background is because it will let you know who she truly is. To give you a brief example, there was a young lady that I had an involvement with, and I've had involvement with a lot of women. I mostly don't sleep with them because they're just not good enough. I don't sleep with them because I don't want to build attachment. So first I have to figure out who they are. There's a young lady that I was dealing with, and I started asking her about, her sexual interest in a non-judgmental way. And remember, gentlemen, we are the saints and we are the sinners. So we don't look down on a woman. We let them know we're here to love, not to judge. But just because we're not judging them doesn't mean we're going to deal with them in a romantic relationship. So anyways, I talked to her and I dug out her sexual desires by strategic questions. So, hey, what's one of your fantasies? And then she said, initially she says, oh, well, you know what? I usually don't talk about it because a lot of girls pretend that they're prude, and the ones that aren't prude lie about what they actually do.
Yep.
So what do? You agree with a woman, because women, being self-absorbed, it's easy for them to think that you do agree with what they're thinking. So I said, oh yeah, I think you're right. A lot of women do pretend as though they're not willing to do things that they actually are willing to do. In fact, you know what? I was in Malibu at a vineyard one day, and we were passing around bottles of wine, and after a couple of those bottles of wine got drank, people started playing Never Have I Ever, and then they started playing, Two Truths, One Lie, telling about like their sexual fantasies, and a lot of girls said they had a sexual fantasy of being raped and things like this. So I opened her up, right?
Whoa.
Once I did that, the young lady says, yeah, I have a fantasy of a DP. Now me, I was like, what the fuck is a DP?
What is that?
I had to literally Google this, which a DP stands for double penetration, which basically meant one in the front, one in the back at the same time. Then I told her, is that what you mean? And she says, well, actually, I mean 3. One in the front, one in the back, and one in the mouth, all simultaneously. When she told me that, I knew in my mind I'm dealing with a woman who has a monstrous sex drive. And then I wanted to dig in deeper to find out what are the origins of this kind of sexual need.
Right.
And I talked more, and she says, yes, I'm into like hitting and slapping to the point of where it leaves bruises. She's like, I'm really into that. So these things let me know, if you really want to get your freak on, this is your girl. If you want to have a girlfriend, probably not your girl, because you can never expect her to be monogamous when her true fantasy is to be with 3 men at one time, right? So the key to her opening up is the fact that she viewed me as a man who is non-judgmental. The way a woman will view you as a man who is non-judgmental is, 1, don't talk so much. Number 2, agree when it seems appropriate to benefit you. And number 3, validate her when she's giving you things that you want. Like, if she's giving you the kind of information you want, validate her so she keeps talking, right? So that's how you open up the woman. And once you uncover that sexual past, I think most of the time you'll be disgusted or you'll be scared, honestly. Because the things that you have had as a personal desire as a man are very mild with regards to comparing them to what women want. Because what women want is often quite extreme. So that's number 1. You must dig into her history, because in understanding her sexual history, understanding her ex-boyfriends, you'll know the truth about the woman. And here's a good question to ask her. Hey, like, obviously, when you break up with someone, they have bad things to say about you. You have bad things to say about them. If I was talking to your ex, like, why do you think he would say that the relationship ended? Like, what would he say is your fault? Then she'll go ahead and tell you what he would say. And remember, what he would say about her is going to be a lot more accurate than what she would say about herself. So that's an important way to dig through her history and find out who she really is. And here's a major insight. If you're talking to a woman about her past relationship and she drags her ex-boyfriend through the dirt, you can be assured that she is not a good woman. Why? Birds of a feather flock together. If he was such a bad guy, why were you dealing with him? Number 2, legitimate, upstanding, upright, upper class people, they don't dog out people. They don't talk trash behind people's back. Intelligent women are also aware that if they talk down on their ex, it only shows how low they are for dealing with a guy who's that low, right? So there's a young lady that I was recently talking to, gorgeous, and she told me that basically her ex was a guy who was completely broke and used to steal money from her. So that has to let me know I shouldn't deal with you in a serious way, because if the last guy you were dating was stealing money from you, that lets me know you don't have the common sense to differentiate an upstanding man from a criminal, right? So it shows that she's seeking out subconsciously to find a man who will misuse and abuse her.
I'm gonna stop this at
appreciate the donation, brother. Good looking out. And
I'm gonna stop this at 35 minutes.
Do share your questions, so I can go ahead and answer them.
No.
But the woman's ex is truly the key to understanding her, understanding what her buttons are, so that you can push those buttons. And you remaining as an objective person, almost like a therapist, in the way that you sit and listen to her.
Take notes, bro.
That you validate her when she's spilling her
I had to learn this the hard
way,
bro. I never watched videos like this.
And what I can assure you I've had a lot of women
I got 18.
that I groomed over time, and I'm so deeply implanted in their mind that there are things I know about them
I had to learn
that their husband doesn't know about them. You understand what I'm saying? And even though they're married, if I called them up and told them to get butt-ass naked, they're going to do it, because they've always felt such a deep connection with me, because they're going to tell you Marquette doesn't judge me. And the truth is, though I might not approve of what they do, I don't judge them. I just will never be in a marriage with them. I'll never be in a serious relationship with them, but I don't judge them. Why? Because having experienced the life I have, been hustling on the street, I've encountered all variety of humankind, from drug addicts all the way up to wealthy hustlers. And then in business, encountering like people who are literally 100 millionaires, right? So I appreciate the spectrum of humankind, and so I just address people where they are, and that's going to cause anyone you encounter to look at you as someone who does not judge, someone who they can share their secrets with, someone they can come to for advice, okay? When you're backbiting, this is always going to make you look bad, because the truth is, a great person does not need to make others small for them to feel big. So if you're really a big man, you don't need to make others small. For you to talk down on someone lessens who you are, and you should only talk down on anyone when it is a strategic decision. If you look at, for example, the 48 Laws of Power, and you look at 50 Cent and Ja Rule, when 50 Cent started attacking Ja Rule, he was less famous. By the time he was finished attacking Ja Rule, he was more famous, because he got Ja Rule, who was big, to use his energy and invest it in the 50 Cent. So you have to do things strategically. But generally speaking, the pimping does not backbite.
I don't judge anybody. I don't judge anybody that drinks.
And negative words. Are there other questions I can?
I just don't want nobody doing it in front of me. That's all that is. I ain't got no problem with it. You can drink if you want to. I just don't. I don't like it when you drunk out of your mind and say the same thing over and over again.
Something and then says, never mind.
Do what you do, man. I tell my girl every time I see her, talk to her, she can do whatever she wants. Because I'm not going to judge her at the end of the day.
The importance of having a large stable of women is so that you have choice.
She got with me.
If you look historically, the definition of wealth is choice. The reason
I don't know what she likes about me, bro. But you know what I'm saying? She got with me for some reason.
You understand?
I'm not going to judge her for anything she did.
Wealthy in dollars, you should also be wealthy in women.
She probably be thinking like,
who you deal
why you
with.
say that?
One person says, how can you hit up on a
I know her fantasy
family? I like
stupid.
that. But my goal for you guys is to have choice. So if you're dealing with a woman who's gorgeous but she's brain dead, just keep her on low association, meaning that if she...
Yeah. Let me stop the video before I watch the whole thing. It's like an hour long, bro. It's like watching a movie. I'm pretty sure y'all don't want to watch no movie right now. But, hey, man. I appreciate y'all watching my other videos and everything. If you know me in this city, I'm not gonna say the city because you know somebody. But if you know me in the city and you see me, just say, "Hey, man, I ain't know." If you see the video, you might not see the video, but this is a good thing to help men right now in the pandemic, because men are going crazy. They are simping over women on OnlyFans and all kinds of crap. And I'm tired of seeing that on the news or the whatever that be on the phone. I really am. Like, y'all niggas really be simping on OnlyFans, bro. Like, it's porn, bro. Just go to porn. Don't even do that. Stop doing that. But yeah, just take notes on this, man. Take notes on this. This man is hell. That's all I gotta say. And talk to y'all guys later. Peace.